Welcome to The Women We Know. I'm your host, Stacey Ferguson, and this podcast is all about real conversations with women in our lives who have stories worth sharing. Not the polished highlight reels, but the real moments, the challenges, the turning points, the courage, the growth, and the wisdom that comes from living a full life. My hope is that somewhere in these conversations, you'll hear something that reminds you that you're not alone and that the women around us are far more extraordinary than we sometimes realise. So wherever you are listening from, settle in, because these are the stories of the women we know. Hello and welcome to The Women We Know. Today I'm sitting down with Lisa Howard. Lisa is a naturopath, personal trainer, mum, and founder of Spring Into Wellness with Lisa Marie. She's passionate about helping families thrive, particularly supporting children with ADHD using evidence-informed natural health strategies, nutrition, and lifestyle medicine. Along with her naturopathic work, Lisa also runs strength-based fitness programs designed to help people build confidence, resilience, and long-term habits. She has also just finished her Cert 4 in bookkeeping and accounting, which, surprise, surprise, in true Lisa fashion, she completed everything with months up her sleeve. And she also happens to be another one of my younger sisters. I know you might be thinking, is this all this podcast is going to be, Stacey having conversations with her sisters? And in a way, yes, a lot of the women that you will hear on this podcast, I have formed incredible bonds with. So in some ways, they are my sisters. But biologically, I have two more sisters that are doing incredible things also with their lives. So of course, I'd want to celebrate them. I started with Kirsty and Lisa, though, because I will forever be grateful for their guidance and their drive to be the best versions of themselves in the beginning of my journey, when that inspiration had the most impact on my life. So without further ado, welcome to The Women We Know, Lise. Before we get into it, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
I'm Lisa. I'm the middle child. I
Have
am
to put
a
that in there.
personal. Yeah. You can't forget about the middle child. Everyone does. Seriously. No, I'm a personal trainer, and I decided to become a personal trainer back in 2011. I think I started studying, and then actually set up business in 2013. And from there, I was like training a client, and she mentioned that her husband was seeing a naturopath. And I was like, what's a naturopath? And she told me what a naturopath was. And I was like, wow, that sounds cool. I'd like to be one. So then, like, the following year, I think within that same year, I was like, okay, I'm going to study to be a naturopath because that sounds like a really cool job. So that's what I did, even though I had no idea what I was getting into and what exactly one did. I was like, there's no better way to learn about it than to actually do the cert. And same with training, like the Cert 3 and Cert 4 in fitness for personal training. I wasn't really sure at the time whether I'd become a personal trainer, but I thought I really want to learn about fitness and how to get fit and how to stay fit. And yeah, I just knew that exercise was an important part of life, and that's something that I wanted to study. So yeah, I don't really know what I'm getting into when I do these things, but then I learn and I'm like, okay, that's what I want to do.
I absolutely love that, and I cannot wait to dig in further. But before we start, I kind of like to start with a bit of an icebreaker. And as you know, I love to sing. So I have to ask, what is your go-to karaoke song?
Oh, well, because when I was a teenager, I was just loved Britney Spears, and I loved the movie Crossroads as well. And I also loved a lady named Joan Jett, which probably not as many people my age would even know existed. But she sang I Love Rock and Roll, and that was my fave song ever. And then when Britney sang it as well, I was just like, wow, such a cool song. So whenever that's on, I pretend I've got a microphone out and I sing it.
I love that. And I have vivid memories of you singing that song. And do you, for the listeners, are you someone who likes to get up and sing, or do you like to cheer from the sidelines?
A little bit about both, depends on the environment as well. Obviously, if it's all around family and people I know, I'm all up there. But if it's like people that don't really know me too well and I don't know them too well, then I'm not going to get up in front of everyone and sing.
Yeah. You talked about Joan Jett being like an older artist that you knew, and I suppose that was our upbringing, but I recall you like walking around the house singing, and I still know that you sing a song called Billy Billy Bio at the top of your lungs. And there was another memory that I remember of you actually getting up on stage at a talent quest in Aramac, I believe, doing a full dance number that you choreographed.
Oh yeah, but that was Christina Aguilera.
Oh, that was, and that was
Yeah.
dancing, not singing.
Yeah.
Or did you sing as well?
No, I did not sing.
Yeah. I reckon you could still pull off those moves.
Oh, maybe. Maybe not.
Oh dear. Well, I really hope that loosened you up. I know I feel more relaxed kind of after a good laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
let's dig into it. Tell me about you right now. What does life look like? What season are you in? What's up in your life?
I described it as like the messy middle, I suppose. Got little kids, 6 and 9 years old, in the midst of obviously motherhood and getting them to any sporting or after school curricular activities. Trying to fit in training around that is obviously a lot more difficult, especially being a personal trainer, because typically your hours are early mornings, late afternoons. And I found like the last couple of years, okay, we've got to drop those late afternoons and maybe just do cut right back on personal training just to fit in family life as well. And
Yeah.
I've also just finished the bookkeeping and accounting course, and that was more just to get a better understanding for mine and my husband's business and just know how to, I guess, bookkeep and like be able to do our own BAS and stuff like that and what actually goes into it. So it
Yeah.
was interesting and a lot harder than what I ever imagined. Um,
Yeah. But you,
yeah.
you but you finished it in record time in true, like I mentioned before, true Lisa fashion, You mentioned all of the things that you do, and you run a business and you focus on health and wellness, and not only for your clients and families, but you train hard yourself, you're raising your kids, your husband has a business, you have a business. So where do you think that drive comes from to just I suppose, have your hands in so many different things?
Um, I don't know. It's just how my brain functions. I can't really sit still and chill. It's like I've always got to be doing something or learning something. So that just suits my lifestyle, I suppose. Like I've never been one to be able to sit down and watch a big movie all at once. Like it's every 5 to 10 minutes I'll get up and go and do something.
Yeah.
Um, and I also like to make sure that I get things done. Like if I say I'm going to do something, I'll commit to it and I'll do it and I'll get it over and done with as quickly as possible. Like I don't like to procrastinate and then have that lingering like, oh my gosh, you still have this to do. Like just get in, get it done and get it over with. Same with like if I've gone for a run, like I feel the same way. Like just get in, get it done. Obviously like you pace yourself, but yeah, and
Yeah.
training, it's the same thing. Like you just, I don't know, you what I like to try and teach my kids is that you've got to work hard for what you want, and also that sometimes we've got to do the things we don't want to do because the benefits outweigh the negatives, I suppose. And
Yeah.
yeah, like if you leave things just to linger, it's only longer that's stuck in your head for and it's not done. Like yeah, just get in, get it done is basically like how I like to think of things.
Yeah, and that's always I've always kind of looked up at you for that. And do you ever like feel like you're doing too many things, or because you're doing so many things, does that challenge kind of energize you?
A bit of both. Like, I think that's why I like to get it done as well, because I'm like, okay, so once that's done, I can move on and focus on this. So, like, now that I've finished my study, I can put my full attention into creating a really good 8 week challenge for next term. So, that's what I'm doing. I think it is just the way I work. I like to be kept busy, but obviously I don't have all my hands in all different buckets at the same time. It's like one task at a time. Let's focus on that.
Yeah, yeah. So you weren't
Yeah.
building your 8 week program while you were studying. You kind of timed it to be able to finish your studies and then move into doing your 8 week program. You've kind of just got something on the go at all times instead of taking little bits out of each different bucket.
Yeah, definitely. But like at the same time, there'll still be things like I'll be continuously working on my business all the time,
Mm,
obviously, and doing the naturopathy work alongside of the personal training too. So yeah, there'll
yeah,
just be obviously I wouldn't have two big things like a naturopathy workshop going on at the same time as doing an 8 week fitness challenge. Like that would be a
yeah,
bit excessive.
yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
that makes total sense. What I find amazing is that we grew up in the same family, in the same environment, but we've really ended up expressing ourselves in really different ways. You know, you've really leaned into that discipline and physical strength, and I suppose what do you think helped shape that? Was there a moment growing up that health and fitness first become really important to you?
Yeah, 100%. When I was 10 years old, so I was in grade five, and we'd just moved out west to Aramac. I had this teacher, and she was really fit and healthy and energetic, and just like she got us out there running laps in the morning before school, before we'd go into the classroom. I think on occasion she'd invite me out for a run as well, and I just thought it was so cool that there was an adult in my life who actually exercised and did fitness. And yeah, I think she was the first person who I seen as an adult do those kinds of things, and that just really inspired me, I think. And I was like, wow, I want to be like that when I grow up.
Yeah.
And then I guess fell off the bandwagon a bit, obviously going through teenage years and turning 18. Like, I actually went the opposite way, and I drank and smoked and, yeah, went out every weekend and did those kinds of things too. So I still lived your average teenage life, I suppose. But then I met my now husband. And when I moved in with him and his family, like I seen how active and fit his parents were as well. And so, like, they'd go out for weekends on the boat, skiing, single skiing, tubing, like having all the fun that, again, I didn't really see many adults do growing up,
Mm.
whereas these adults were doing those really fun things. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. And that actually inspired me to get back into health and fitness. And began eating healthier. And that's where it was only like bit over a year that I'd been living with my now husband. But I was like, okay, it's time to study Cert 3 in fitness and
Yeah.
become a personal trainer. Yeah, because I was like,
Yeah.
that's what I want to do. I want to be fit. I want to be a fit adult.
Yeah. I love
Yeah.
how that path kind of presented itself once when you were younger, and then once when you met Jack and his family. It kind of feels like life was always kind of pointing you in that direction, and it feels like it was always supposed to kind of be your purpose, and the impact that both the teacher and Jack's family kind of had on you it was kind of like a turning point in your life. And why, like, I know that you touched on that it was really cool that you got to see adults be able to do, you know, go out boating and exercise and that sort of stuff. But what do you reckon actually changed inside you? Was it a kind of like I want to be like that, or I want to be able to move like that? What do you think actually changed inside you on those, especially those two kind of pivotal moments?
Yeah, I think like looking back in year 10, we were asked like, what did we want to do for um, as a career? And that was to point us in the right direction as to what we'd do for work experience. And the only thing I could possibly think of that I really, really wanted to do, which I thought would be a cool job, would be to be a personal trainer. And so then when I guess I was presented with Jack's family and then being fit, it just reminded me that that's really, truly the only thing that I could see myself doing in the future and be happy doing. Like,
Mm.
yeah, I don't know. And I guess, yeah, I just really cared about being healthy. And I did from a young age, like even 13, 14. I look back and obviously we all go through diet phases and all of that sort of stuff. But yeah, at the end of the day, I really aspired to be someone who was fit and healthy because I guess that's where I could draw confidence from as someone who didn't have a lot of self esteem and
Yeah.
probably still don't have a great deal now, but I feel like it's 1,000 times better than it was. And I owe that to strength and fitness, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I reckon we'll probably come back to that soon, but I love how that while you were doing this and wanting to do it, you were with Jack's family in Springshaw. You found yourself in Springshaw sort of before you met Jack, and that's where you met him. And that's a small little rural town in central Queensland. And I know that living in a small town kind of comes with its own challenges. And I suppose because there weren't many choices there, and to have that health and fitness drive for yourself, do you think that that kind of helped you create something for the community because there wasn't really anything else there available?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Like it was really scary and daunting because there wasn't anything here and available. But at the same time, it was such a necessity that my business actually took off really quite quickly in 2013 when I started. And I was actually booked out training wise for a fair amount of time, like much more than I am even now. But I
Mm.
think that's because it was there was a big hole in the market and no one was doing it. And yeah, people also assumed that it wouldn't survive because it had never been done, well, not really done in Springshaw before. And same thing when I started up the naturopathy business. I remember someone commenting like, that's not going to work in such a small town. I was like, you watch, I'll make it work. I love to prove a point.
You definitely do. And I guess that's probably what keeps you showing up is that you're just proving a point that you can and you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Like if someone says that I can't or they give me a time frame, I'm like, you watch, I'll do it. Like even when I was studying with the naturopathy side of things, I think it was only maybe a couple years in and I still had another 2 years to go and I was pregnant with Brax. And a really great friend said, oh, you're probably going to have to wind it back and, just give it a break for a while. I was like, you watch me. So I like pushed really hard throughout the pregnancy, did all the study. And then even straight after he was born, I was like sitting at a desk with him on my lap and breastfeeding at the same time as typing up assignments or doing little exams. And even the first lots of prac down in Brisbane, there was one where I had to actually bring him into the college with me and they were like 4-day pracs, but luckily I only had to take him for 1 day. But still, like sitting in a classroom with a baby on my lap, I was the only one in that classroom, obviously with my kid there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do. I really like to uh, I just prove to myself, really, more than anything, that I can
Yeah.
do it. I can do
That's
hard things.
it's absolutely incredible, and I love watching your drive and your determination to just get in and get things done, and that power of that. Before I get more into your work and your passion, I kind of want to rewind the clock to 2020 and how you inspired me when I was in a dark place. I felt like I was in this fast moving hamster wheel of life, and I didn't really have any purpose, and I really needed something to get me off that wheel. And I remember kind of watching you and your journey, and you were knee deep in study, but I think maybe you were starting your naturopathy training, possibly, but you started seeing a life and business coach, and the idea of that really excited me because I had a dream to start a business, but I hadn't been excited about something for so long, so I was so excited to be excited about something, and I'd been in this place of dullness. And when you shared that you were seeing this life and business coach, it sounded like it was just something so incredibly eye opening. So I really just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge that and how you kind of taking that first step, or you even having that drive to better yourself, kind of helped me take that step. So in many ways, you've helped shape who I am today. So I just wanted to say thank you for going first and showing that that drive all the time. I
Oh, thank
know.
you. No, that was really good when you did join in on the business and life coaching too. I really love that you did it as well, because then I could show other people, or like other people around me, like my family, could
Mm.
see just the positive benefits of like mindset and how important that is as well.
Oh yeah, 100%. And it's still something that every day that you have the possibility to be able to shift your mindset, and it can completely flip a situation the way that you perceive it or approach it. I know that that journey was just so much. It was so much to take in, but we learned so much, and I kind of think that it helped lead you to where you are today. And now you get to be of service to people, and you choose to spend a lot of your time helping people improve their health, and with that is not just their health in that, but it's their mindset as well. And yeah, I suppose what kind of like what excites you about, I suppose, the it's the strength but also the naturopathy that you do, and I struggle to say the word. um, but also like the mindset behind it. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I love naturopathy because it is such a holistic style of medicine. And it's not just looking at, here, take a supplement and this will help you. It's actually, you've got to change your mindset around things too, because we know that like there's so much clinical evidence for certain diets, or for certain conditions, or we know that so many nutritional supplements, or even something as simple as magnesium, how many benefits that could have on someone. But if you go into something with the mindset that I've tried everything, nothing works, why is this
Mm.
going to be different? Or if you have a negative mindset like, or self belief that this is just the way things are, I was diagnosed with this, so I'm just going to have to live with it, there's nothing I can do about it, it's never going to change. So you really do need that mindset change as well, because otherwise you're just going to stay stuck in the same position for the rest of your life, because you're not changing your thought patterns or your self beliefs or anything like that as well. And that's something that's ingrained in us from when we're kids, and it could be something that our mother told herself that we started telling ourselves, or
Mm.
generational patterns that are passed down
That belief
through
system, yeah.
generations. Yeah, and like we can have trauma from grandparents that have been in the war, like, and that's stored in our cells. So emotional health and self beliefs are so detrimental to our overall health and well-being. And so, if we don't address mindset and emotional health and those kinds of things, or even releasing negative thought patterns, or emotional trauma stored in cells, then it's really going to be hard to heal and move forward in life. And that's why I love naturopathy, because it's not just a take this and you're better. It's looking at the person holistically, from emotional health to every system within the body, taking into account their diet, their lifestyle habits, their, like, whether they're exercising, what supplements would be beneficial for them, are there any deficiencies, or is there any trauma or psychological concerns that we also need to address as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a very holistic style of medicine that doesn't just look at, you've got this is how we're going to fix it. It's a whole
Yeah.
body approach, and we look at each person individually.
Yeah, yeah. I absolutely love that. And I love that, each person is different, and you look at all the different aspects of their life and the different things that could be going on. And, uh, like you kind of touched on, magnesium might help for that person, but it might not be necessary for the next person. So it's a very independent, individual case to case or person to person basis. And I know that a big part of your work is helping families, and particularly families with neurodivergent children. Tell me, what do you love about that type of work? Because I know that that's a little bit different.
Yeah, like we've got to be
Neurotypical, that's what I was
treated
thinking of.
appropriately, I suppose. And yeah, everyone has standard sort of approach as to, we should all be able to sit still in a classroom and not fidget and not move and be able to focus. And that to me, like, it really related because I suppose every single one of us, we all have some sort of neurodivergent tendencies, whether that be some autistic traits, whether we have ADHD traits. We've all got some characteristics, but how, I guess, severe or the quality of them or the quantity of them obviously contributes to how it affects our life from day to day. So, yeah, I guess like myself, I know that it can be very difficult to focus or to read a book and to be able to retain information. So that's kind of what got me into it. And then I guess over the past couple of years as well, I've also come to realize that I probably do have quite a few autistic traits as well. And I think that there's so many things or factors that play a part in how we manage our symptoms, and like so much out there that can help improve our symptoms as well, and we can totally work with whatever we have. And
Yeah.
obviously, medications can be absolutely necessary and life changing for people. And that's totally okay. But there's also a lot of natural, holistic things that we can do to help support ourselves if we don't want to go down that route, or if we want to try this approach alongside the medical way as well.
Mm.
So, even things such as like certain fish oils can be so helpful for cognitive function, brain health. We know that, like, when we're pregnant, the most important thing to have for baby's brain development is EPA DHA from our fish oils. So, like, taking that into consideration later on in life when we're sitting and struggling in a classroom situation where it's really hard to focus, that can make a huge difference to our lives and ability to actually, yeah, focus on the task at hand. And yeah, there's just so much out there that can really help families. And I totally understand the struggle. So many families or mums have come to me with kids and they're like, he just keeps getting in trouble at school, and the teachers keep hounding me because he's being disruptive or he can't sit still, or yeah, it's affecting their grades or it's affecting their friendships, their social network. And just certain little things can make such a big difference. So I really love seeing that change in the kids and their families and their mums and dads as well.
Mm.
And yeah, just being able to help from that perspective. And I know myself, like when I sit down and study, I want all the support I can get. So I'm like making sure I do the things that I tell my patients or clients to do as well, to be able to help them with their concentration and productivity too.
Yeah, and like you touched on, there's so many different things that you could try that could work for you, and obviously having wins in the clinic is a big driver for you, like having things for kids that work, or adults that work, or yourself. And I know I've heard you talk about helping a woman, and her GP was even really impressed with your recommendations. And I think having a team working alongside each other that are bouncing off each other kind of thing is absolutely incredible. And it's kind of, well, I know it's my dream to have a GP that can help with the medical side, but then also have someone that can help with the holistic approach as well, because we know that the more sort of processed things that we put in our bodies sometimes may not be as helpful as going down the natural route. So it's great to kind of have a team that kind of works together. And I know that you've helped a child with nose bleeds, and then that kind of causing a ripple effect of self-confidence for this child, and how then you help them with their physical health and supporting their emotions. I'd love to hear about that feeling you get when you have a win like this with a client. I know that there would be so many, because you are absolutely incredible at what you do. But what does it feel like when you have a mum kind of say, "Oh my God, such and such was able to focus in class today," or "I haven't had a phone call from the school in a month," or "I was able to, I woke up feeling like this today because I'm doing what you recommended." What does that feel like when someone kind of reaches out and says, "Thank you"?
Ah, it feels so cool. And just like, I don't know, I feel a big sense of gratitude as well that I was able to help someone else. And I only wish that, like, I guess everyone knew that there is help out there and we can make a difference, just with such small little changes. It doesn't have to be huge, but
Mm.
yeah, like to have someone say that they haven't heard from the school all term is pretty cool when it was a regular occurrence, like every couple of weeks, or
Yeah.
even yeah, like just self-confidence and being able to talk to friends and socialize and that kind of thing in a more calm manner and not be so overwhelmed and be able to deal with that stress a lot more easily, because I know how difficult that can be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's touch on that because I something I find so incredible about you, Lise, is that people probably see you as this incredibly driven and strong, confident woman, which you are, but being your sister, I get to see a different side of you. And you often talk about how sometimes you feel, and you've mentioned it even in this podcast, you feel kind of quite overwhelmed, but then it goes a little bit deeper and sometimes you feel uncomfortable in social settings and, even before prior to this, this conversation's kind of getting you out of your comfort zone a bit. And I really do truly appreciate you sitting here with me today. And I know that it's not the easiest thing for you to kind of step out and just, have a chat. That is going to be recorded and it's out there, but it really means a lot to me. And I honestly do believe that another woman out there listening today will need to hear this. So she knows that she's not alone. And I think that it's so important. I'm so grateful that you actually took the time to step out of that comfort zone of yours. But what I'd really love to know is, what is it, and if you wouldn't mind, like sort of sharing, what does it feel like when you're in a group setting and you get that uncomfortableness?
Yeah. Yeah, social settings for me definitely isn't the most comfortable thing. Especially being in a group, like I would much prefer to talk to someone one on one and get to know them truly and tell me things that might be like too much information for some people, but to me it's like, yeah, bring it on. I want to know all the
Yeah, I
information
think
and
we're
all the
similar in
detail.
that aspect. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
But I really don't love making small talk that doesn't mean much, I suppose. And so, yeah, being in a group situation, I do find it hard to talk at all. So I tend to stay quiet. And I feel like sometimes I go home, I'm like, oh man, I probably come across really rude and like, um, I don't know, you could say that I might be too stuck up to talk to people, but it's not that at all. It's actually, I just don't feel confident talking in a group setting because, yeah, I don't know. I just really relate to talking more deep and meaningful than to have small talk. And yeah, I find it difficult to converse with little things like, so what did you do today? Or,
Mm.
those
There's
kinds of
small
things.
chit chats. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Obviously, when it's people that I know and that I'm comfortable with, it's fine. But if it's people that you just see on day-to-day passings and things like that, it can be a lot more difficult. So I definitely 100% have suffered with social anxiety, and like often I'd go home and just like overthink and not be able to sleep for a couple of nights because you're just overthinking everything that came out of your mouth because what did they think of this or what did they think of that?
Mm.
So that's why I really like to help other people feel more confident as well, because I know how difficult that can be and how much of an impact that can have on your life, not just in that setting, but then when you go home afterwards as well and overthink every little detail and everything that was mentioned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, how does that make you feel? Like when you do go home and overthink things or, have been in that setting, but you know yourself that you would just prefer to have a one-on-one conversation, but then you've got this other voice
Mm.
inside your head kind of overthinking things. How do you feel?
Yeah, I guess I feel like a little bit bad because I really don't want to be misunderstood and I don't want anyone to think that I am rude or stuck up or
Mm.
anything like that, because that's far from what I am. I'm pretty down to earth once you get to know me.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and sometimes I use a lot of sarcasm too, so that can be say strewed the wrong way or
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, just I don't know, it just makes you feel a bit uncomfortable, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, when do you feel the most like yourself?
Around family, definitely. I feel most myself, and obviously at home. And then, like, when I'm training people in the gym, I definitely feel myself. Like, I don't feel like I have to put on a front and be someone I'm not. Like, I'm
Mm.
truly there being who I am. Whereas, I guess when you're out to dinner, sitting down, I don't know, I don't even like to go out to dinner. Like, it's not where I want to be. So then, yeah. Whereas when I'm in the gym training people, it is where I want to be. Or when I'm being a naturopath and talking to people about their health, that's where I want to be. So I feel confident in those situations, but I feel very not confident in those other situations.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can definitely see that, and it makes so much sense. Watching you um in your comfort zone compared to seeing you in a when you're out of your comfort zone, it's almost like two different people. But I'm lucky enough to be
Yeah.
able to see the other side of you, and now sort of. I think the beauty of this podcast also is that now other people can kind of maybe that might have, like you said, might have showed you as rude or up yourself or anything. Well, you're far from it, and I think that gives permission for other people to look around at the other people in their life that they may think is rude, but they quite possibly have their own things going on in their head. So I think that gives people permission to be a little bit kinder and a little bit more understanding. So thank you for sharing that. And I know that that's always a bit of a touchy subject, I guess. But let's flip it and talk about what are you so super proud of right now?
um Everything. I'm really proud of my family. I've got good little kids, and yeah, I feel like they're kind and they're caring and they're little hard workers, and yeah, they put in 100% effort in those areas that they want to be putting in 100% effort. Yeah, and I'm really proud of like Jack, how far he's come in his business as well, and actually putting himself out there.
Mm,
Everyone always says no, stay in the mines, it's the safest thing, but if you're not happy there, you're not happy there. Um,
yeah,
and also like work ethic. I'm really proud of being a hard worker because I don't think anyone can say that I'm not. Like,
yeah,
yeah, and that's something that I don't know. I just don't ever want to be known as someone who doesn't work hard, because you can
mm,
have talents and you can be good at things, which is awesome. And I'd love to have some more talents. But when you're someone who doesn't have many talents, you've got to work hard. So I've just got to work hard.
Well, I think you do. I think you do have talents. It's just not the same talents as what you see in a talent quest or something like that. But you have talent. You're able to get out there and train people, and you have uh that dedication. And you talk a lot about, like, if you want something in life, you just have to get in and get it done. And I know a lot of people don't do that. I'm a massive procrastinator. That's where we're completely different. And I will procrastinate the shit out of something until until the last minute. But I think that the mantra, like that you have to get, if you want something, you have to get in and get it done. It is ingrained in you. Where do you reckon that came from?
um, I don't know. I just don't like the feeling that heaviness of a to-do list that's like there's always something to do. And I know that that's life. There is always something to do.
I thrive on it,
But
mate.
at least you can move on to the next thing once it's done. I don't know. Yeah, it's just like
Yeah.
I just don't like the feeling of knowing that you have to do something and then you're doing something is not productive at all. You're like, okay, I'll
I
skip
feel
to
like I
work
need
and
to
get
take a
that
leaf
thing
out of
done.
your book. Okay. Every time I talk to you, I feel like I need to take a leaf out of your book.
It's not to say you can't relax and also have fun as well, because that's so important
Oh,
too. Like,
100%. Yeah.
we can be doing all the things, but if that's not what's bringing you happiness, then obviously we've got to do the things that bring us joy too.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I guess it's just that daunting feeling of overwhelm when you know that something needs to be done and you're not doing anything actively to approach that.
Yeah. And you talk a lot about the small changes and the discipline. And what small changes have you made along the way that you think a woman listening today could maybe implement without the overwhelm? And do you think there's a tool or trick
Yeah,
that you've learnt to help you stay committed or, on the days
yeah.
that you don't even want to show up? Because we all know, or I know especially firsthand, that motivation only lasts so long. So, what
Mm.
actually keeps you going when that fades?
I suppose I've learned that trying to change too many things at once is just a way to fail.
Yeah.
And I try and teach this, especially in my 8 week challenges, all the time because it's like everyone goes in gung ho and they're like, completely overhauled their diet and they've like extremely reduced their calorie intake and then they're training 5 days a week when they were training zero, and it's like, okay, I can see where this is going to end, and I have seen it numerous times where get to the end of the 8 weeks or not even through the 8 weeks and we're burned out, and
Mm,
you just go back to square one within a few weeks because you're like, nah, it's too hard. So
yeah.
that's why it's so, so important to just do little steps at a time. Get that pattern down pat, get it set in routine. Like for me, training is a part of nearly every day because I feel like I'm much happier when I do, I'm more productive, and I feel less overwhelmed. So I just
Yeah.
know that that's a non negotiable. I get in, get it done. As much as some days I really don't want to, I'm like, you know what? You'll feel better once it's done. You're only going to
Mm.
feel worse if you don't do it at the end of the day.
So you
So if
think of
we
the
can,
outcome. Yeah.
yeah, I always think of the outcome. So if
Yeah.
that's, yeah, I guess think of where your either excuse or you're getting in and getting it done, where that will take you, what the result will be. So think about that, but
Mm.
also think long lifestyle lasting changes that are going
Yeah.
to last a distance, because if we change too much at once, it's going to be way too difficult. So, yeah, even if we start with drinking enough water every day, that makes a huge difference in our lives. And people
Yeah.
don't, like, people really underestimate that. But I know if I haven't drank enough water, it affects my sleep, it affects my energy, it affects everything else. And that in itself can be one small change that you work on. And then
Yeah.
maybe the next week or 2 weeks later, when you're easily drinking 2 liters of water a day, let's start with, okay, let's do 2 30-minute sessions a week of strength training.
Yeah.
And then within a couple of weeks, we've got that pattern happening and the habit is built. We're done that. Okay, let's move on to the next thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And that saying, how do you eat an elephant? Have you ever heard of that? It's how do you eat an
No.
elephant, and you eat it one bite at a time. Like
Yeah.
that's I said essentially, I guess what you're saying is just do things one step at a time. And
Uh-huh.
I think I love this because I think that's again the beauty of these conversations is hearing different ways that women build their lives, and often doing the work but kind of just one step at a time, and these small changes result in a massive lifestyle change or becoming the person that you really want to be. So I absolutely love that, and love having the opportunity to share that. If you could tell your younger self something, what do you reckon it would be?
Mm. Um, do it. Like whatever you want to do, go get in and do it, because the time's going to pass anyway. So if you're thinking about studying, but you're in the midst of young kids or whatever, like the time will pass anyway. So just like sign up for what you want to sign up for. If it's a fun run, sign up for it and then work out the plan along the way.
Mm,
um yeah, don't be afraid to do things that scare you, because at the end of the day, they're the things that bring us the most satisfaction, because things do have to be a little bit scary for us to get that endorphins. Just have a go. Like
yeah,
don't be afraid to have a go, no matter what.
yeah,
Like, yeah, you could come up with all the excuses in the world, but if you don't try, then you never know.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I suppose that advice can go to not just your younger self, but it could go to anyone listening today. And it's just, I think it comes down to, again, stepping out of your comfort zone and not being afraid of giving it a go. I would
Believe
love
in
to know.
yourself.
Believe in yourself. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
If you don't believe that you can do something, you will never do it.
yeah. Yeah. Or
Yeah.
borrow. I spoke in the first episode about borrowing other people's belief. If you need to do that as well. You know, there's plenty of people that
Mm.
would be out there rooting for you if you just shared your goal with someone, you know. I know that that's scary, but sometimes
Yeah.
it can be that little push that you need to be able to. And you might be like Lisa and be like, right, I'm going to prove this that I can do this, you know.
If you need someone to tell you you can't just to prove a point, I can be that
Exactly.
person.
Yeah. Lisa, who is a woman that's inspired you or who you think deserves to be seen, heard, or celebrated?
Oh, there's heaps. My sisters, for a start, you,
Oh,
Kirk, Tan, Tamsin, everyone is out there doing great things in their work and their family. They're supporting their husbands. They're like a part of a business, running a business. They're still being mums as well and being a good mum. And the people that are real and honest. And yeah, well, my sisters, they inspire me. Connie, my good friend, she's always inspired me as well.
mm,
And Mindy Durden from Springshaw, she deserves a shout out too because she runs the Springshaw Mountain Challenge every year and it's always to raise money for a good cause. But and at first, when this was like a Mother's Day event, I was like, oh man, Mother's Day, what? Why does it have to be on Mother's Day? But then when I started attending as a mother, I was like, oh my gosh, there is no place I would rather be. This is so cool. And now I love taking my kids there because they see like an over 80-year-old who's just done a 17-kilometer mountain challenge. Like they've
wow.
climbed a mountain and walked down it at 80 years old.
Wow.
They see them coming across the finish line, and it just, to me, her running this whole event is really cool because now my kids get to see that to achieve great things, there's not like a one size fits all. You can be anyone and you can
Yeah.
be any age and you can do anything you want to do if you put in the work. Like
Oh,
that's
that
so,
is,
yeah, I really love that whole event because you just see so many people from so many different backgrounds and so many different fitness abilities, injuries, all these different things. And they're still out there having a go. And yeah, so for Mindy to run that and then for my kids to be able to see everyone there and such a great little community, it's really cool.
yeah, that is really cool. She definitely sounds very inspiring and definitely worth celebrating. So thank you
Yeah.
for sharing that with us. Lisa, I really want to say thank you so much for sitting with me today. I know that the lead up to it wasn't the easiest thing for you to do, but you absolutely smashed it. And I really wanted to have a chance to celebrate you and kind of hear your story and share your work with all the women listening. You're a massive inspiration to me and you inspire me every single day. Thank you so much. I love you and I'm proud of you and everything that you've achieved. And I love watching your journey. And if you're listening and love what Lisa's about, please go and give her a follow on social media. Her business is Spring Into Wellness with Lisa Marie. And I'll pop her details in the show notes as well. But I just wanted to say thank you very much, Lisa. I am bloody proud of you.
Thanks for having me. And yeah, I'm really proud of what you're doing. And I think it's really, really cool. So good on
You are
you for
so
doing it,
welcome. You're so welcome.
facing the
Thanks.
fear. Thanks.
Exactly. And the fear of technology.
Yeah.
Thanks, Lisa. I appreciate you so much.
All right. Thanks.
And that's a wrap on today's conversation with one of the women we know. If something in today's episode resonated with you, I'd love if you shared it with a woman in your life who might love it too. And don't forget to follow along so you never miss a conversation. And if there's a woman in your life that you know has a story worth sharing, I would love for you to nominate her at The Women We Know on Instagram or Facebook. Or shoot me an email at thewomenweknowpodcast@gmail.com. There's a dot in between each of the words, the.women.we.know.podcast. at gmail.com. Thank you for listening and being part of this community that celebrates her story, her resilience, her honesty, her triumph, her challenges, her life. We celebrate her.